You wouldn't believe the numbers of people who want one and can't have one. We'll meet a couple like that in just a moment. Dr. Sherman Silber joins us, a urologist who practices in St. Louis and around the world. You tell us, among other things, that 400,000 of the 4 million infertile couples in the United States can't have children because the sperm is not very squiggly.
Right, well, it's even worse than that, because we know that a larger number, maybe 2 million men have poor sperm, and that's the problem. But in 400,000, with the best in vitro fertilization methods, they won't fertilize at all. There's absolutely no way of getting fertilization. The sperm are dead or near dead.
So when the egg is sitting there, the sperm just and they can't.
That's exactly right. They are so bad they'll never fertilize, no matter what you do.
It just it goes up to the egg and it can't. And how many millions? This is how it works. I mean, the egg sits there and more of those squigglies go up, and the healthy squigglies, bang, you got a baby. In many, many cases, because of either low sperm count or low, what do you call it?
Terribly low. I mean, you might oligospermia, but so severe. Now, with cases where the man might only produce, well, not 100 million or 10 million, which is a low count, but maybe 10 sperm.
Yeah. And is this the instrument that you harvest for sperm from?
This is actually to show you a regular pipette that we pick up eggs and embryos with for regular IVF. And you see, that's relatively big and true.
In vitro fertilization, right. IVF. Okay, we got to keep up with these acronyms. So you go in there and
yeah, exactly. But this is what we need to do the really incredible procedure with.
That's the poke in the...
You can't see the tip of it. I know your eyes are very good, and your camera, as tight as it might want to get on there, you cannot see the tip, because the tip is about as wide as a single sperm, by 1/4000th of an inch.
All right, let's show that first tape, Brian. Here is the harvesting of the sperm, and as you'll see, see those little, turn the lights on, I can't see those little squigglies. It's really hard to see.
These are very weak sperm. They're just about dead or hardly moving at all. And that tip that you couldn't see is about as wide as a sperm's body.
There, you got one.
So, yeah, we picked it up.
Now, these sperm are alive, right?
Well, the ones...
More or less.
They're very weak, but they're more or less alive. But we can do this with dead sperm. In fact, we could take sperm that... From a frozen ice age, man. You heard about that guy that's 10,000 years old that was found in this glacier?
He was on our show last week. Seriously, though, this is a legitimate anthropological thing. Huh?
Yeah, we could take his testicles that were frozen.
How long ago?
Well, about 10,000 years ago. There have been finds like this made.
Now, this is legit now. Listen, this is not fairy tale here.
Yeah, and those sperm for sure will be non-moving dead sperm because of, first, they were frozen. But the second place, we're taking them from the testicle where the sperm don't move anyway, and we can take that and inject it into a modern woman's egg, and she could have a baby from this guy.
And the baby's old man would be 10,000 years old.
That's right. Not that we're going to do this, but I want to emphasize what this technology can do.
This is not a crazy kind of. This is a probability of the future.
No, this is right now. We could do that. It's very easy to do with this technique we just developed.
Right. Okay. Here we go. We're going to go and get the egg now. This is new. Watch the film. Here you are. There's two walls on the egg. Watch that thing on the right there. Coming at you.
It's got the sperm in it, and we're going to inject that sperm directly into the egg.
You got another wall to go through.
There it is. Yep. Now we're inside. We're injecting the sperm. And so these sperm could never possibly fertilize or penetrate that egg on their own, but with that little tiny pipette that you saw was invisible to the naked eye, and about the size of the diameter of a sperm, was used to inject it directly, by brute force, so to speak, into the egg.
So this new technology can actually take a man with a very low sperm count and a very wobbly, wiggly feature to the sperm, and actually harvest the sperm and artificially invade the egg with the semi-modal sperm.
Right, or even non-modal sperm. And in fact,
it's not moving at all?
Yeah. Although
you put a non-moving sperm in an egg and it suddenly says, whoa, here we are.
All you need is the DNA. That's right. You just need a viable sperm, but it doesn't have to be moving. All of its moving apparatus can be destroyed. In fact, this technique is easier. It's a little bit easier to do on dead sperm or very, very weak sperm than on healthy.
More manageable.
It's easier to catch. And in fact,
so in other words, a sperm doesn't have to wiggle at all then.
Doesn't have to wiggle one bit.
So the sperm can be dead,
right?
But the DNA is still there,
that's right,
ready to do its business if we can get it into the friendly environment of the egg.
Right. We have to do it with a very delicate pipette, like you just saw, that doesn't damage the egg in the process.
Well, Gina and Jim know about this story. Gina, you guys have been through everything. Is there you just about have had all kinds of doctors. You spent a lot of money. You have the low sperm count, is that right?
No, I don't have a vas deferens.
Vas deferens. All right. Obviously, I'll have to explain to this audience what the vas deferens is. You know, though, don't you? You know? You know. Oh, these New York audience is getting smarter and smarter. Here are two testicles. Is not the vas deferens the tube that comes out? You have an epididymis on top here.
Right.
The sperm is manufactured in here.
Right.
It matures in here.
That's right.
And then swims up. Here I come, swimming up. And then on some romantic evening, who knows? Huh? Is that not right?
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. So I do belong in teaching medical school.
You really do.
But what is not funny is that we are here to say that Jim has not one of these.
Right, and that's a very common condition.
In other words, he is manufacturing sperm in the testicle,
right,
but there's no bridge to allow for, as we would say in the normal romantic evening, for him to deposit the sperm in the neighborhood of his wife's ovaries.
That's exactly right. And there's no way to fix him surgically. We could get those sperm out and retrieve them, but the problem is that they were weak sperm. And that's what we normally expect into this condition. Usually the sperm are not very fertilizable.
So from what location did you harvest Jim's sperm?
Well, you only have to
sure. You won't be as good as I've been.
We harvested the sperm right from this area because none of this existed in him.
Is that the epididymis?
And this is the epididymis area right near the testicle. And in some of the patients that he went through this procedure with, there wasn't even any epididymis. It was all scar. I mean, it was a disaster. And we actually had to take these small, this is going to scare you, small, tiny piece of testicle. It's like a testicle biopsy.
I'm still trying to survive the Bobbitt trial. You come with this,
But this sperm really, here it's usually very, very weakly modal, and here it's just not modal at all.
Yeah, but let's understand, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Is not Charles Darwin's God's plan for the sperm to be manufactured in the testicle at 98 degrees something. The reason that the
94 degrees.
94 degrees, and the reason it's lower than the body temperature, it hangs outside the body, and 94 is the temperature in which the sperm is manufactured.
That's right.
And we men manufacture sperm all day long. Isn't that right?
Right. Hundreds of millions a day.
It's no wonder we're tired, all day long. Really, we have to rest. I'm telling you, we do. I mean, you walk up to a guy in a bar stool, you say, how you doing? The guy says, well, I'm sitting here making sperm. But it's the truth, all day long, and millions of them, millions in one ejaculate. Now, the sperm then comes up into this epididymis, which is a long, what is it, 20?
It's 20 feet long. And
20 feet long, and it sits on top of the testicle.
That's right.
So
it fits into a little tiny
as the sperm goes through this testicle, it matures, does it?
That's right. And
it gets more wiggly as it goes, under normal circumstances. And when it finally gets up here, it's a real strong, man, I'm a sperm, man. And it's strong, and it's moving real well, and under normal circumstances, there's a baby.
Right.
So you are harvesting then from Jim a sperm that is not altogether that mature.
Oh yeah, it's just been made. It's a very immature sperm.
But do I understand that this new technology means that you don't care?
We don't care one hoot whether his sperm have any kind of fertility apparatus at all. We just need the DNA. That's all we need.
You just need the biochemical composition of the sperm, regardless of its vitality.
That's exactly right.
And you take his sperm then. You had to actually take a piece, or you took it out of the epididymis.
We were able to get some from the epididymis, but with many men we can't even do that. We have to take a little tiny piece of testicle.
So you can actually extract a sperm from the gonad.
Right, which is amazing, because we didn't think it could be done. Well, you can't get many. I mean, from a little tiny piece like that, because the sperm are stuck in there, you'll be happy if you can just find 10 or 20 sperm at most. And normally sperms are talking about millions of sperm.
Okay, let's walk through these slides, Brian, and then I want to talk to Gina and Jim. Let's walk through the slides, and you just go to school with us here.
So here you see just a diagram of us about to pick up that sperm. Now, if the sperm is moving at all, it's going to damage the egg when we inject it. So we actually have to break its neck. Because if there's the slightest motion at all, it'll damage the egg. So this is almost...
Why doesn't it damage the egg under normal circumstances?
Because normally, with normal fertilization, the second it gets in, it is immobilized normally by the egg. But by injecting it, that normal process doesn't occur. So here we've injected the sperm through that micropipette. It's in the egg. Everything's very nice. But if we hadn't immobilized it first, because there's the slightest motion, here's an actual photograph. This isn't just a diagram. This is a true photograph. You can see how delicate that little pipette is. And that's just placed the sperm inside the egg. And if it were a wiggling sperm, even slightly wiggling, the egg wouldn't fertilize. You would not have a baby out of that. So it's kind of ironic.
That is a piece of the testicle.
That is a piece of the testicle.
Being held in a dish, being held in the hand of the researcher.
Right. It's being put, it's the hand of the researcher. It's being put in a petri dish.
Now, in other words, you're going to get sperm from that?
Very amazing. We'll get about 10 or 20 sperm out of that. There, under the microscope, you see mostly sperm-holding cells, but you don't really see anything that resembles a normal sperm there. But we can search through that mess, so to speak, from the testicle and find 10 to 20 sperm that are not moving at all. And, of course, as I told you, we'd rather deal with those. Those are almost easier to deal with. Pick them up and fertilize the eggs. And it's a normal fertilization rate.
Nobody wanted a baby more than Gina and Jim. Gina, you're 28, and Jim, you're 31. So you guys really were, you working 2 jobs?
Yes.
Everything was baby. And you're not alone here. We should say this is not make you unusual. There's people out there, they want a baby. And God bless those who adopt. Let's have lots of people adopt. It's a wonderful thing. God bless AI, artificial insemination. You could have gone to a deep freezer somewhere and gotten another sperm. And people do it all the time. And praise the Lord, they're good people too, and they love and raise a baby. You wanted your baby. You wanted your baby. Your biological baby. And you got shut down at least a couple of times. You were in tears. This is not an overstatement, is it?
No.
No.
We
were totally unhappy.
You went to California. You went there twice. You really had hope. I mean, you probably did everything, and nothing.
Nothing.
And then you get a letter, and you've been notified about Dr. Silber.
We used Dr. Silber before in California. They didn't have this technique with the injection.
You just didn't have. You couldn't put his sperm in a vitro dish. And it just wouldn't invade the egg.
We got fertilization.
Oh, you did invade the egg.
Fertilization the first time.
The first time, but I got sick.
You got sick from the, you were really popping eggs there pretty good, huh?
Yeah, she produced a lot of eggs.
Hyperstimulation.
And nausea ensued from this, did it?
Nausea, I couldn't eat at all. I couldn't even drink water. I was dizzy, I couldn't sleep, horrible backaches. And they wouldn't do the transfer because they said that my ovaries were too big and that it wouldn't work. They told me it wouldn't work.
And sometime throughout this very difficult ordeal, and incidentally, you're not independently wealthy, either of you.
No, not at all.
So the money's going out the window. Nobody is counting you. You're not in the company of any charlatans. It's just that the technology's not. And did the doctor not say, you're just never going to have a baby?
Oh, doctor did
that
say
was in the beginning. These techniques were like fairly new, and I guess he didn't even think that we'd go to California to have a baby at all. So he just told us just adopt or
your adoption, considered donor.
Donor.
Right. So you're really emotionally bad.
We were
fortunately, I discussed this with my family, and my mother made a phone call to my family doctor, and he gave me a name of a doctor here in New York City. And he gave me Dr. Silber's name, so fortunately I was able to come across Dr. Silber.
And Dr. Silber got your records and checked you and knew about your sperm count and the problem, and he tells you about this Belgian thing.
No, first we did California.
First you did California, but you failed out there.
Twice.
Twice.
Yes.
Even what we thought was fertilization was not really what was really a good embryo that we result.
All right, with the clock ticking, we're running a little long. There's other people we want you to meet.
The third time it was Belgium.
Belgium, you fly to Belgium. Belgium.
Yeah.
Belgium.
Yeah, I assume you didn't go first class.
No.
So you got a pretty good ticket, I hope. Pretty good price. And did it work the first time?
Yes, I'm pregnant. Yes.
Well, stand up and let's see you. There you go. This is 18 weeks. 18 weeks. 4/4, that's 4 months. She's first trimester plus 2 weeks. And you're fine? You've heard the heartbeat?
Yes.
You guys are little kids.
Yeah.
Every day's Christmas, huh?
Yeah, we ain't kidding. Every day's baby.
After all this time,
Yeah.
how much about have you spent? Just a round number. I'm sorry, we worry about this.
With all the procedures?
Yeah.
Probably about 50 to 60,000. With travel expenses, doctor expenses,
That may be
hotels.
right. Maybe less.
Well, but
I don't want to scare anybody.
Even if 40 or 50, and you kept going. A lot of this has to do with traveling.
Yeah.
Wow. Can't wait. She doesn't know what kind of baby she's going to have. She didn't have.
No.
You're not going to have amnio.
No.
You're going to take what you got.
We can find out if you want in a couple of weeks. We're going for a sonogram, but I want it to be a surprise.
Yeah. We'll be back. Incidentally, can you clone people? Make an identical copy of me. I mean, this is just what television needs, another me. The New York Times has written a story, Scientist Clones Human Embryos and Creates an Ethical Challenge. This was a front page story in the New York Sunday edition of the New York Times not very long ago, just last month, a couple weeks ago. We'll talk about what many professionals believe is a misunderstood reading of this article. What is possible and what isn't. Yes, you can split a fertilized egg and make identical twins. Right. You can do this artificially.
Right.
You can split the egg and leave the one egg implanted, take the other fertilized egg, this is the identical DNA egg, you got an identical twin here, and deep freeze it. Now, little Philly is born to me. I grow up to have this fabulous television show, and after a while I get kind of tired, So we go to the deep freeze, we get out my identical thing, and we wait about, 22, 23 years? And there he is with his microphone. This could happen. This can happen. And we'll be back in just a moment. Yes.
I wanted to ask the doctor a question. I have a testicles with tubes. I can't remember the name. That's
the vas deferens.
Thank you. What happens if you don't have those to the sperm that are usually in the testicle?
Yeah, what happens?
I mean, what do you get bigger and bigger?
That is one of the biggest questions. The sperm gradually die of old age in that area, and they get reabsorbed by the body. And yet, that's amazing that even if all the outlet tubes are gone, you do a testicle biopsy, you still have normal sperm production. But those sperm are very weak in the testicle.
Yes.
I had a concern. If we're messing with Mother Nature a little bit, my daughter goes around helping little baby rabbits, and the veterinarian said, gee, the mothers just abandon those. Let be what is. Is there any concerns about that?
Well, there's a big concern we had initially. It took a whole year of review by our ethics committee in Brussels, Belgium, and we had to have detailed informed consent. Now we have over 300 babies, all genetically tested to be normal genetically, chromosomally, no greater incidence of any abnormalities than in a normal population. So we feel much relieved that even though the sperm may be terrible, misshapen, misformed, totally abnormal morphology 100% of the time, nonetheless the babies are normal. It's just the sperm that's
the babies are normal because the DNA is valuable and lush and able to do its job regardless of the absence of vital expression by the sperm itself.
Exactly. And even if the sperm has an abnormal-looking structure, the DNA is still normal.
Yes, I'd like to know, is this procedure painful? Do they go into anesthesia? Do they numb the area?
Well, it's never been painful to me, but most of the patients, what do you think?
No, it's uncomfortable for a couple of days, but it's really not as painful as you would think for such a sensitive area.
Can you do this in a man who's had a vasectomy?
Oh, yeah. Now, I think we'd prefer to do a microsurgical reversal operation to make them fertile. But what we're doing now is we will save the sperm we retrieve from his vas or epididymis when we do that operation, freeze it. In the past, that was a worthless procedure because the freezing would really damage the sperm. They'd never fertilize anyway. But now, all we need is 10 or 20 or 40 sperm, not hundreds of millions of sperm, and they don't have to be moving, and we can fertilize the wife's eggs with them. So they've got a fallback procedure if the reversal operation doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you just before this break, and so that this audience can ask you if they choose, on the matter of cloning and the New York Times article. What is it you want to say?
Well, I want to say, for 40 years we've known really how to make identical twins or even triplets or quadruplets by taking an embryo when it's 2 cells or 4 cells and dividing it in half or even more. This is what's been well known. And one little complication, you have to take these cells and inject them back into an unfertilized egg, so to speak, that's been emptied out, so they have a home they can sit in. But this is not new technology. The problem is, and the reason it's never been popular is, one, no one seems to ask for this procedure, but number two, you'd be killing the vast majority of embryos. So if they're an infertile couple and they want to have babies, the last thing they want you doing is splitting these embryos in half.
Sure, they don't want you fooling with it. I understand that.
But this isn't real cloning.
No, but I just want to understand this. You can harvest a fertilized egg,
right?
Put it in the dish,
right?
And split it in two.
Yeah, and that for a long time. I mean, this is nothing new. This has been going on.
You split it in two, and you got 2 identical twins.
Right.
You have identical twins. Redundant to say 2. You have identical twins, and you could deep freeze one. Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You can freeze a zygote, or you can freeze a fertilized egg.
Absolutely.
For indefinite period of time.
Right.
And then you implant the other twin.
Right.
Right. She grows and is born and hopefully lives a happy life.
Right.
At your leisure, you could implant this egg even in a surrogate mother and have an identical twin 20, 30 years younger than yourself.
Absolutely. No one's done this, but it could be done. But I don't want you to think that if we took a clone... It's too late for you, Phil, you see, because we would have had to have gotten you when you were 4 cells.
I had to get me when I'm one.
Your parents would have had to get you when you were just a 4th.
No, I understand that. But it wouldn't be too late for any man with a sperm or any woman with a viable egg.
They want identical twins.
Yes.
And to freeze one and have the other.
And have them at any time they wish.
Right. But no one's ever asked for that. Yeah.
Oh, we got people in this audience today. We'll be back to let them ask you questions about that in just a moment. It is Grützmacher, is it? Jeannie and her husband, Ed. Okay, Jeannie, you're 42. You've been married for 10 years, and you have the most beautiful child, 5-year-old Eve, whom we'll meet in just a little bit. But Eve was a long time coming. You've had your own drama.
That's right.
May I ask just for a moment the doctor to give us, incidentally, I'm sorry, you wanted to put an addendum on the conversation. Hang on just 1 minute, Brian. I'm sorry, I'm all over the lot here. What I talked about with the splitting of the fertilized egg into identical twins is not cloning.
Yeah, what we think of as cloning, really, the word means if we could take some DNA from your white blood cells or from your skin and inject it into an egg and get an identical copy of you, that's the classical thought of cloning. That's like Jurassic Park, you know.
That's bringing the dinosaur alive.
Right.
But and cloning has been done, has it not, with frogs?
With frogs, right, exactly.
Is that as far as we are frogs?
Right. Frogs is as far as it's
Well, how far distance can we be from frogs? I mean, let's get going here.
I that in 50 years we'll be able to do classic cloning.
Right.
But
so in other words, any piece of the body tissue.
Right.
Get a little piece right up there. Seriously, I mean, a microscopic piece has all the information we have to know about Sherman Silber in this little thing here.
Exactly.
So we put this little part of your forehead, which is incidentally very available to us. Thank you. Good sport, doctor. I wouldn't tell this joke if I was under the knife with this man. You can actually, you're saying in some future date you'd be with that material to create an identical Sherman Silber. That's so.
We suspect in 50 years we'd be able to do that.
Your guess is 50.
But we can't do that now, and that's what people think of as cloning. And we can't do that.
Sorry to leave the Grützmachers out here because they have a happy story. First of all, it didn't start out that way. But kindly tell us how they are different from Gina and Jim.
Well, they are really the first couple that were able to achieve pregnancy that had this problem of just no vas deferens and no ability for the sperm to get out. And they were told that they couldn't possibly have a baby. And we thought that this kind of sperm couldn't fertilize. And lo and behold, they were a first stage in the evolution of this, but it was just with regular in vitro fertilization. He was lucky. He was the exception rather than the rule. Most of the time, that sperm won't fertilize.
So when his sperm, after you harvested it, is placed in the dish, it did its thing. He had enough wiggly that it got into the egg.
That's right. That's more or less.
Yeah. But this was after some real disappointment. So.
That's right. We had some really tough times first.
Did you miss once? Did you?
Well, the first time we went out and had the procedure done, I did miscarry 5 weeks. It was devastating. It was unbelievable. And then 5 months later, Dr. Silber's office called Ed, and Ed called me and he said, Sherman just called me and said, guess what? We're going to do it again. You guys have got a great shot at it, and please come try it. And so I was still kind of depressed from the miscarriage, but we decided to go ahead and do it. And
yeah. If there's no vas deferens here, you harvested his sperm from what?
Well,
from the testicle itself or from the...
In his case, there was a little bit of epididymis.
That's the 20-yard thing.
20 feet, but he only had 3 feet.
3 feet, all right.
It was compressed into a little area that big, and so it was right next to the testicle.
But this presumably would be immature sperm, at least as we would traditionally look at it.
Well, that's right. And really, I think only 10% of the time, really, are you going to wind up getting a baby out of regular in vitro with this procedure.
So his sperm did the job all by itself.
Right.
They had to go all the way to Belgium because his sperm was not invading her egg.
Right, and I want to give the Belgian doctors really the credit. These are colleagues of mine for the last 13 years, and everybody's been working on this, but they were the ones who perfected it, Dr. Andre van Sturtigum and Dr. Paul de Voy at the Free University in Brussels.
And how many pregnancies do you have?
Over 300 now.
Give us a number, percentage. I know this is early in the research and the protocol, but give us a conservative percentage. I mean, a reliable one.
Well, virtually every patient that we do this procedure on when we harvest the sperm are going to get fertilization in embryos. There may be a rare exception, but virtually everyone will get embryos.
Right, and of those, how many carry to term?
35% will carry to term.
So we're still low on the numbers.
Well, but then we can freeze the extra embryos and put them in again.
So you don't have to do more surgery.
Right, exactly. We can freeze sperm in case we run out of embryos. We for sure will have frozen sperm on you. So he never has to have surgery again.
I won't have to.
I see. So we got him on the shelf.
He's on the shelf.
Yeah.
If they want more babies, they can do it without surgery.
Right. You can freeze a sperm.
Right.
You can freeze a fertilized egg.
Right.
You cannot freeze an egg.
That's right.
What's the matter with you women? Cannot freeze an egg. Isn't that interesting? But you get the sperm in there.
And all of a sudden, what happens is the membrane of what's the embryo now, the fertilized egg, allows the cryoprotection, which is just antifreeze. This is the same antifreeze you have in your automobile. That allows it to get into the egg, into the embryo, and protect it. But before it's fertilized, that egg will not allow the antifreeze in, and so therefore you can't protect it from freezing.
Right. Right. If you freeze an egg, unfertilized woman's egg, the freezing process damages the egg.
Right.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Yes, ma'am.
Where do you draw the line between Mother Nature's own constraints and everything that medicine's doing now?
Yeah.
You're making babies, you're making older people last longer through medicine. There was a reason that we had a constraint with Mother Nature, and it's
Well, I think that those ethical questions are really important, and these have been reviewed carefully by large panels at the Free University in Brussels and also at St. Luke's Hospital in St. Louis, where I work. And number one, you must realize that one of the reasons couples are having babies later is because our whole society has changed. We used to die at 35, and now we expect to live till we're 80. And so a man...
Nobody wants a child or a loved one to have a baby in the years when they're so very fertile to have one. With menses at 12, 13 years of age.
That's right, and we don't want them to be pregnant when they're 15 or 14.
But they can be. They can be.
They usually do if they don't use
if there's right. But the point is, biologically speaking, absent religion and all the cultural influences, we have obviously evolved to be reproductive at age 14 and 15 because that ensured the survival of our species.
Exactly.
Now, we have no interest at all in anybody being pregnant at 14 or 15.
Yeah, people are usually interested in getting pregnant at 33 when we used to die. Now is when we want to have a baby.
Right. Okay, and so this technology then, we shouldn't be surprised that we should have more couples look up at age 33 and see and realize, holy cow, maybe this isn't going to be as easy as we thought.
Yeah, and many guys with very, very poor sperm, they'll fertilize an 18-year-old, but not a 30-year-old. Because the woman is much less fertile at age 30 than she was at age 18.
Yes.
Hi. I just wanted to ask Gina and Jim if you were planning on having any more kids or is just one enough for you?
We're going to try again, definitely, Belgium.
Well, the program went so well. 18 weeks for first pregnancy. We want to know if you're going to have more.
I'm not going to be back on the show.
Well, how do you know?
Okay, they call me back.
Yes, we know. So, well, first of all, you'll never see a happier couple than this. I mean, every day is Christmas for them. That is not an exaggeration. They are absolutely elated, yes.
To what degree, does insurance reimburse the procedure? Number one. Also, number two, $10, $20, $50, $100,000. People like Hillary Clinton may be more important in deciding who gets this technology. When do you draw the line and say it's too much money for a baby?
I must say we're all very disappointed that the Clinton task force has decided not to cover in vitro fertilization, and I would encourage everybody. I think they just haven't researched this the way they should, because all of our studies show that this is the least expensive, most cost-effective way for an infertile couple to have a baby. The $60,000 figure you might have heard is related to having gone through procedures that really weren't as advanced.
That's from the very beginning. That's from me having surgery to make sure I was okay. That's from him having surgery to make sure he has sperm. All the way up to, we tried it 3 times before it worked, travel expenses. And
this was 2 visits to California and 1 to Belgium.
1 to Belgium, plus the surgeries we had in New York just to make sure that,
to check to make sure everything else is okay.
Do this, I just want to say that no money. I mean, it would cost. If it cost us more money than this, we could save it.
I believe that with you, but it is an important question for those who may not be quite as committed as you. And you did work 2 jobs just to stay alive here and keep this process going. You wanted to say?
No, you talk about insurance. Didn't take care of anything. Just, it was minuscule amount that they paid for at one time.
But if you go directly to the in vitro approach and this very efficient approach, suddenly the cost goes down to $10,000 to $16,000. No, because you can have them in the freezer. That's probably going to be close to the maximum cost. You might add an extra $4,000 to it for maybe 2 or 3 more transfers of frozen embryos.
So when you artificially inject the sperm into the egg, you will inject more than 1 egg.
Oh, yeah, if we can get 20 embryos out of this, we will.
So you might implant 4?
Yes, right, exactly.
And then freeze 16.
Right.
So if this doesn't work, you go back to the freezer.
Exactly.
Yeah, the music means we're long. Can you take a piece of material out of the recently in vitro impregnation and tell whether it's a boy or girl?
Absolutely.
Just from the 2 4-cell.
At an 8-cell stage, we take one of the cells out. We can tell if there's any genetic defect.
You can tell cystic fibrosis,
right?
Sickle cell, Tay-Sachs,
right? And if it's a boy or girl.
Spina bifida.
That one we can't tell yet. And we can put back only the healthy ones and freeze the others for a later future cure.
Incidentally, how do you feel about throwing out the girls and keeping the boys? How do you feel about throwing out the boys and keeping the girls?
Yeah.
You want to do this? You want to manipulate your? We'll be back in just a moment.
No, but I have a couple of questions for our doctor today. that what percentage of infertility cases are because of this specific issue which we are talking about today?
The absence of vas deferens?
Yes.
I mean, when you don't have a bridge going to the... Yes.
Okay.
Issue, yes.
Well, it's much more common than you realize because it's carried on the cystic fibrosis gene, which is very common. So there are at least 40,000 cases in the United States alone of absence of a vas. But of obstruction that may be difficult to repair, there would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 150,000 cases like that alone in the U.S. And of infertility in the male, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 million. But of infertility that can't be treated with regular in vitro fertilization, about 400,000.
And what is the direction of church towards this issue of cloning?
The church?
Yes.
This is my area, Doctor.
Go ahead.
The church is very, very concerned. Let's put it this way. Certainly the Catholic Church is.
Well, the cloning issue is, as I said, was a very hyped-up issue. That is not about to happen in any big way. I don't want anybody to think that's the case. I believe it was a chance for some headline hysteria and excitement because no one's really talking about doing anything like this. I agree the ethics should be discussed, but it's not about to happen. Now, as to this method of in vitro fertilization, injecting a sperm in an egg, or any method, 98% of Catholics are in favor of this procedure, and their priests okay it. It's just the Pope that made a statement a long time ago that was against it, but nobody, at least in the U.S. or Europe, really that is Catholic pays attention to that statement because the major issue is to have babies and have a family.
I wanted to know the name of the procedure.
It's called intracytoplasmic injection and a sperm injection, and we have a nickname for it, ICSI. ICSI, so we call it ICSI.
ICSI, yes.
Is this procedure only in Belgium? You said that if you wanted another child, you'd have to go back to Belgium, and when is this going to be available in the United States?
Well, right now, between California and Brussels, we were very happy with the way things went in Brussels, and maybe in a year from now things will be better here in the States. But right now we feel that our best chances and hopes lie in Brussels.
Listen, my location is in St. Louis, at St. Luke's Hospital, and we're going to be certainly providing this at St. Luke's fairly soon. But I have to tell you, these people in Brussels are incredible. They have such a vast experience, and they have such integrity, and the cost there is so relatively low compared to the U.S., and they just make you feel at home. That I'm very comfortable doing, all these cases out in Brussels.
Look, there's a caller there. Are you there, caller?
Yes, I am.
You wanted to say.
Is there any way I could be guaranteed having a baby girl? I have 2 sons now, and we really want a daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yes, of course. This is I don't know that anybody's about to do this yet because doctors are a little worried about the ethics of it. But it's very easy to just do in vitro fertilization, take one of the cells of maybe you have 10 embryos, take one of the cells and of each of the embryos, and we could freeze the boys and save them for later in case you had a change of heart and put only the girl embryos back. Now, we're not doing this. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. We're not doing this because we have ethical fears about it.
But what kind of deal are people going to make with their doctors? You have 6 daughters. You're not going to be tempted to check out?
Look at these people. They did everything so they could have a healthy baby.
Yes, they did.
Who cares if it's a boy or a girl?
Well, the woman on the phone.
The woman on the phone. Her concern should be a healthy baby, not the sex of the child.
Yeah. Speaking of girls, we've got a gorgeous one for you. Eve, come on. May I ask this beautiful child to come out? Hi, sweetness. Go see Mommy. She's right over there. Right over there. Here is the victory after many, many disappointments. 5 years old. And we'll be back in just a moment. Sherman Silber, M.D., St. Luke's Hospital, St. Louis will do it. An awful lot of 63017. Ed Gutzmacher is here with his daughter. Now consider this. Let's just take a look at this happy portrait here. Ed is 48 years old. His beautiful baby is 5. And when you were 27, a doctor said to you flat out, no ifs, ands, or buts, what?
I had 0 sperm count, therefore I wouldn't have any children of my own. I ought to consider adoption if I wanted any children. But then we had a retest again when I was about 38 or so. And then when we had...
You had no sperm then?
No. And then we heard about the program here on the Phil Donahue Show.
Oh, you actually saw him on this program?
Yes, he was talking about another procedure.
Oh, I'm a sort of an indirect partner in this. Look at this. Did you see yourself on TV? Yeah. Look at this. You look like a movie star. I'm so glad you came. Yes, ma'am. You wanted to say.
This question is for the doctor. I was wondering if this procedure was ever used on a couple that had either the female didn't have her fallopian tubes or had a blocked tube and the low sperm count on the husband's side. If that was ever done, because I know of at least 25 couples that have that type of a problem.
They're both. You mean they're both?
Both have problems.
Yeah, you absolutely, you don't need fallopian tubes at all. You just need a uterus.
And ovaries that will pop out an egg once in a while, right? Yeah. So you're going to need the egg. Yes, you've been so patient. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this question is for the doctor. I just wanted to know, do you know if there's been any research or studies done to track the development of the children? Basically, do they turn out to be healthy?
Yeah, that's the important thing we're most concerned about, because you're putting in some really terrible-looking, monstrous-looking sperm, really, in a way. And that was ethically reviewed, and now we do know these are all healthy, normal kids. Occasional kids with a mild defect that is the same as in any normal population of couples getting pregnant, a cryptorchidrosis or some minor thing that occurs in every population.
Dr. Silber, couples who want to have babies have no interest in ethical arguments. What was the basis of the doctors who made this decision? What was their ethical argument for it?
Which decision it was?
To go ahead with this procedure and its development.
Oh, well, because the couples really all wanted to have babies, and the only issue ethically for us was, is there a greater risk to normal of producing abnormal children? And it took a lot of consultation, molecular biologists, people that researched on the Y chromosome that have actually completely mapped the Y chromosome to work out that we felt the likelihood is that we would have normal babies, but we weren't sure.
It's so hard to get out from under the Darwinian accepted doctrine that the survival of the fittest, the strongest sperm make the babies, and the weak ones don't survive, therefore you have a stronger gene pool. Now you're artificially intervening, and you're helping these poor sperm that are just making it into the egg. It would seem that you're promoting the possible expression of defects, and you're here to say there is no evidence of that.
Definitely no evidence of that. What we're promoting, though, is more baby boys that may be infertile. We're fairly sure that's what's going on.
Oh, I see. So if they have a boy, they're more likely to inherit their father's genital deficit.
Yes, though in this case they won't, but if it's poor sperm production, they probably will. But why should we worry? Because in 25 years they'll be doing this procedure in, South Dakota. That won't be a problem.
And it'll be commonly accepted.
It'll be commonly done.
You're first when I come back. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm sorry.
Morally speaking, do you think it makes sense to spend tens of thousands of dollars, $50,000 on this, where there's children in Peru, 3 years old, trying to get food in the streets, where you can just as easily adopt?
You can't just easily adopt.
You can't easily adopt.
I was 40 years old when I tried to adopt your own child.
You can't even get a baby from Peru easily. It'll cost you minimum $25,000 to try to adopt a baby from Peru. And then I know a couple that went to Peru to adopt a baby and wound up in jail because there was an illegal outfit that was doing it, selling babies. And it's not...
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.